shamble to the bathroom and perform my morning ablutions. I let the razor dance across my jugular vein. I don't have sufficient courage to do the deed. I get dressed for work. I take one last shot of courage before I walk out the door. On my way, there is a bridge, but the traffic is always so thick that I can never reach a sufficient speed to launch myself over the railing and embrace sweet death who waits for me at the bottom. I pull into the parking lot, straighten my tie, I look at my dead eyes in the rear view mirror. I exit. I walk toward the building, and I see my coworkers. They have the same expression as me. Then I see you. You who I was told to become your mentor. You who I was taught I will lead. This was a lie. They say children are the future, and they are right, because in you I see an empty, meaningless void. And I will take vengeance upon the world, because I will shape your minds into sullen drones who will live out the same agony that I live out every single day, because I am a teacher. I touch the future. I teach. Some say the world will end in fire, others in ice. From what I've tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. But if it had to perish twice, I'd come on down to Big Joe Ragnarok's Apocalypse Warehouse, where we've just received a burning bush from he that is known as I Am, that this planet's overstocked, and I've been ordered to rapture inventory at cost. That's right, at cost. So this weekend, and this weekend, everything must go. Hi, folks. I'm Big Joe Ragnarok. When it comes to ending the world, I'm known throughout the universe for having the high-quality destruction you like at the prices you can afford. But with star wormwood burning in the sky and the oceans turning to blood, maybe this time I've gone too far, but the time of judgment is at hand, so the time for savings is now. And if you've heard a sound of thunder, well then behold a pale horse, and know that the name that sits upon him is value, and that low prices will follow with him. That's right, nothing will be held back. Is water your thing? Well, you just try to stay dry when we release the floods that even Noah and Jonah can't beat. Fire and brimstone? Check out the Sodom and Gomorrah exclusives. Earthquakes, droughts, pestilence, plague. You want them? I've got them. Now, how about locusts? We've got locusts. Big Joe's got the swarm for you. And because it's our big end of the world blowout, I'll throw in the scorpion's tails at no extra charge. Insane. Now, are you hearing about wars and rumors of wars? Well, see that ye not be troubled, because that just means it's time for Big Joe's 7 Trumpet Special. And with the armies of Gog and Magog massing on the plains of Megiddo, even the Antichrist has to admit these truly are the savings of God. Now, how about bad credit? How about no credit? Well, that's no problem, because our Mark of the Beast payment plan, you cannot be denied. Plus, we hablamos español. We parlons français. We also speak in tongues. That's right. The end times of high prices are here. Check this Sunday's hymnal for our inserts. Then come on down to any of our convenient locations. Jerusalem, Israel, Mecca, Saudi Arabia, Nauvoo, Illinois, Vatican City, and do not be left behind. We got dragon rides for the kids, flowers for the moms, a barbecue for the dads, and an apocalypse of value for everyone. Because like Big Joe says, if it's not Big Joe, then it's not... Start my mind. Sipping coffee the color of the mighty Mississippi and dusting myself with powdered sugar like I'm a crime scene being checked for fingerprints. The fortune tellers of Jackson Square say they can tell me my future, but I don't need to spend the $20 because I know my future involves crawfish etouffee, shrimp creole, bread pudding with a whiskey sauce. Jazz will fill the air like the pollen of a magnolia tree. I will dance in the streets, perfumed by clefs of treble and bass, scented with the sounds of brass and wood. And I will stroll along those same streets named for the bastard sons of a king and smoke tobacco. It was once harvested by slaves whose fathers' names were not known. Now, I will revel in the past, but I will be thankful for the present, because now the sons and daughters of slaves and kings can sit together on a rattletrap streetcar named Desire and take those rails to wherever they still run. The quarter's heart, it beats to a zydeco rhythm, and I watch as future pickpockets learn their trade by distracting tourists with cap shoes made of spoons while drag queens stroll by, trying to channel the ghosts in them octoroon girls. And I will head to the graveyard and leave my gifts by the count of 3 at the door of the tomb of Miss Marie, and hope there enough to conjure up the spirit of a city that is traveling on the path between Harlem and Paris. And only when the sun sets can I hear the ghosts of missionaries and whores, jasmine and drunks, the phantoms of Storyville take their rightful place in the cacophony of the night. And only when the Cajun moon rises over the Pontchartrain can I let my soul be overcome by the drums and the calls of a voodoo dance. And I will shake to the prayers for an African god, and I will quake to the prayers for an African saint. And the quarter's gonna howl all night long like a hurricane that those floodgates try to keep at bay, but simply couldn't. Every single moment I was there, it was like Marty. And every single second I was there was like Halloween. And every time I go there, it's like I'm a miserable sinner who strolls up to the gates of heaven uninvited, but was welcomed in anyway. Since the Café du Monde is open 24/7, beignets and cafe au lait. That's how I'm gonna end my day. Sipping coffee the color of the mighty Mississippi, and dusting myself with powdered sugar the way the stars dust the sky. Louisiana night.
Yeah.
The only thing that I've ever discovered from watching the Discovery Channel is that nature sucks. It's beautiful, it's violent, it's just plain mean. For example, if something's cute and fuzzy, I guarantee you the last you're going to see of it will be the scraps of its flesh on the teeth of something a lot less cute and fuzzy. The timid Thompson's gazelle has virtually no defense against the ravenous African cave hunting dog. And yeah, I know it's all part of Mother Nature's grand plan. The small fish gets eaten by the bigger fish, which in turn gets eaten by the even bigger fish, but I can't shake the feeling that somehow Mother Nature gets off on it, and that perhaps she'd be better served with the title Mistress Nature, as this more accurately reflects her heartless bitch queen dominatrix disposition. This playful little fella is the California sea otter. But little does he realize that beneath the surface hunts the great white shark, nature's most perfect predator. Shh, let's watch. And I blame Disney for my discomfort, as they never showed me nature red in tooth and claw when I was growing up. No, they showed me Bambi and his forest pals frolicking through the deep woods, never once stopping to consider that Mr. Mountain Lion was hiding behind the bushes, trying to decide what wine goes with venison. The closest they ever got was with the Lion King, and even that was pretty sugar-coated. If Elton John really wanted to teach us about the great circle of life, he'd be shrieking that song down the African savannah while being chased by a pride of hungry lions. The flamboyantly gay British pop star is not the preferred food of the African lion, but if hungry enough, the lion will not be picky. Shh, let's watch. And yeah, I know nature did the best it could, and that prey has evolved a myriad of defenses against the predator over time, but I think Darwin should have taken a page from Tom and Jerry, as it's much more effective to drop an anvil on a cat's head than it is to shoot out a jet of ink, blend into the background, or grow a set of eye spots on your ass. Even intelligence is no great equalizer when compared to brute force, superior numbers, or sharp-pointing teeth. Charles Darwin may have been the father of the theory of evolution, but he's no match for the swarm of killer bees. Shh, let's watch. You know what, sickos? You love it. You run to catch feeding time at the snake house at the zoo, or pay a little extra to get the Cable Plus package so you can watch zebra snuff films on Animal Planet 24 hours a day, and remember when Steve Irwin fled fluffy bunnies to hungry crocodiles for your enjoyment. Oh, that one's a beauty. Bet it's nice and crunchy. Shh, let's watch. So just remember, when you're taking a walk in the bear and wolf-infested woods, or a dip in the shark-filled sea, that your final, bloody, grisly 15 minutes of fame will be captured by an Australian nature guide with a handy cam. And that's just as Mother Nature intended. Shh, let's watch. Now, and a little backstory on it. It's from my ex-wife. When my ex-wife and I split up, she came out, and a couple years ago she got married to her true love, who happens to also be a woman, and I'm very happy for them. and I couldn't come up with a wedding present. And so this was kind of something I wrote for them that I didn't tell her about for a couple years because I wasn't sure how I wanted to broach it. And the poem has gotten less relevant as the years have gone by. I think that's a good thing. But I've got to do this for Sedona too because who here is political? Like the blogs or the Twitter? Well, there's a website, I think it's based in Phoenix, called Seeing Red AZ. It's a very conservative blog. And they're apparently launching a boycott of the city of Sedona because Sedona has joined Bisbee and Tucson in recognizing same-sex marriage. So this is for Sedona, and this is for my ex-wife, and this is for everyone. In a shocking discovery, archaeologists working in southern Israel have found, in a long-forgotten cave, the original book of Genesis, written by the very hand of God himself. How do they know it was God's work? Well, the handwriting is intricate and flawless, with all I's dotted and all T's crossed. Miraculous, considering it's written in Hebrew. Double-spaced and in MLA format. Scientists believe it was... That took a while. Scientists believe it was handed in on time. Like all of creation, it is without error. And with this discovery, we will all need to rethink our preconceptions because it turns out there was a typo. A pretty important typo. Handed down from the Torah to the Bible to the Quran. It actually was Adam and Steve, not Adam and Eve. God made Steve from Adam's rib, which makes perfect sense. It's basic science, people. When you cut a worm in half, you get two worms that are exactly the same. He's God, not a magic genie. Even he is bound by the rules of the universe. A universe where queer now means normal, and normal now means queer, just as he intended it. And ladies, this means you're off the hook. The curse of Eve is now the curse of Steve. A man is responsible for getting us kicked out of the Garden of Eden. And it also explains why Satan came to Steve, in the form of a snake. Because the devil knows the true shape of temptation, and it ain't an apple. Pain, suffering, shame, all because of a dude. A dude! Now, ladies, I don't know why you're still bleeding down there on a monthly basis, but I assure you it is something Stephen did. And there are other staggering theological implications. What was the real reason why God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah? Not enough sodomy going on? And where did Cain and Abel come from? Well, that one's a matter of faith. But remember, gay adoption has always been an option. And that agenda we're warned about by Fox News, start calling that God's agenda. Because if he didn't want us to have hot, sweaty, homosexual sex all the time, he would have made Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. Don't you read the Bible? And you straights out there, you better get right with the Lord. I know you think your attraction to the opposite sex is biological, that you were born this way, but you made a choice to be straight, and you stand in defiance of the Lord. For as it says in the newly revised book of Leviticus, chapter 18, verse 22, you shall not lie with womankind as with mankind. That's the abomination. Haven't you seen the signs from the San Francisco chapter of the Westboro Baptist Church? God hates breeders. But to my gay brothers and sisters, don't make the same mistakes we straights made. Don't let it take 150 years to serve in our armed forces without having to hide the fact that we don't like cock. Gay scientists, stop trying to isolate the straight genes so we can be made normal like you. Don't rely on an old book to let us know that we can marry the ones we love. Because I am normal. I am as God made me. And if God is indeed love, big, gay, lesbian, bi, transgendered, cis love, then I am perfect in his eyes. Straight as an arrow. But gay as the day I was born.